slick.
Wait till that mother start hitting that body.
Yeah.
Alvarez hit that mother body. Oh,
Look how slick. Mike, look how slick he is.
oh, he's gonna get.
In August of 2024 against Israel Majima to make him a 4-division champion. That's it. That's all. He hasn't fought since then.
Look, with Crawford, I think gaining too much weight and too much muscle might affect them. If they're thinking of surviving and being able to take a punch and being able to go around.
Mike Tyson issued a strong warning to Terence Crawford during the build-up to the potential clash with Canelo Alvarez, particularly after making his presence felt at Canelo's press conference. Tyson bluntly stated that Crawford is simply too small to realistically compete with a fighter of Canelo's size, power, and experience. In his view, there is virtually no legitimate path to victory for Crawford against the Mexican superstar, who has spent years dominating across multiple weight divisions. Tyson argued that the physical differences alone create an impossible hill for Crawford to climb, and he went so far as to say that fans aren't even demanding this fight with the same passion as others. His remarks carried a sharp and provocative edge, sparking heated discussion about whether this fight is truly worth pursuing, or whether it risks being seen as an unfair mismatch before the first bell even rings.
That Terence Crawford is simply too small and doesn't have a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez. I am Mike Tyson. He says that this is a fight that nobody calls for. It's just simply too much of a size difference. Shannon Briggs is the believer in styles make fights, skill set, and the skill set of Canelo Alvarez versus the skill set of Terence Crawford favors the skill set of Terence Crawford, not only just to win, but to possibly stop Canelo Alvarez for the first time in his career. Now, Canelo Alvarez is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Terence Crawford is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Terence Crawford is 4-division champion, undefeated, 2-division undisputed champion. Canelo Alvarez is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, with a record of 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout.
Veteran warrior Gabriel Rosado, who has built a reputation as one of boxing's most battle-tested fighters, weighed in with his own perspective on a possible Canelo-Crawford showdown. Rosado praised Crawford's technical brilliance, his footwork, accuracy, and ring IQ, but he was also quick to underline what he sees as the defining problem: Crawford's lack of fight-ending power at higher weights. Rosado reminded fans that Canelo has stood toe-to-toe with some of the hardest hitters in boxing history, men with proven knockout strength, and has never folded under their shots. That kind of durability raises serious doubts about Crawford's ability to cause any meaningful damage, no matter how sharp his execution may be. Rosado explained that this physical gap, Canelo's strength, durability, and toughness against Crawford's lighter frame, might be the single biggest obstacle standing in Crawford's way, one that skill alone may not overcome.
I don't see how Crawford could hurt Canelo, because Canelo's been in there with Kovalev. He's been in there with Bivol. You know what I'm saying? He's been in there with big punchers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can a guy that's really a 47-pounder, even though he's up in weight, I don't see how he can hurt Canelo. You know what I'm saying? It just feels complete, because your body is different to absorbing a bigger blow. So, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, when I sparred the guys in the lower weight classes and they hit me, bro, it's like, no disrespect, but it just feels like you get hit with a pillow. It's just different. It could be a murderous puncher at 147, but if I'm walking around 185 and I'm a solid guy and I'm used to fighting guys, you know, with a different kind of power, and I spar a guy that's a welterweight, it feels like.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult gave a clear and unfiltered opinion on the matter, laying out why he firmly believes Terence Crawford cannot defeat Canelo Alvarez. His breakdown pointed to a trifecta of disadvantages: size, strength, and style, that all heavily favor Canelo. Showbiz emphasized that Canelo's years of experience across multiple weight classes, where he has faced and beaten elite-level opponents, has shaped a toolkit that makes him particularly dangerous against smaller, technically sharp fighters. He acknowledged Crawford's versatility, intelligence, and adaptability in the ring, but insisted that these traits won't be enough to nullify Canelo's explosive power, iron chin, and ability to dictate the pace of a fight. According to Showbiz, unless Crawford delivers something absolutely extraordinary, something boxing hasn't seen from him yet, the outcome will lean decisively toward Canelo.
Spaceman Films. What up, Biz? Who you got? Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, got Canelo. I heard the punches that he hit Charlo with. I don't know if Crawford can absorb those punches. I know he's a great man, a great warrior. But you come from 147 to put on a better fight than Charlo. I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody could do better than Charlo did last night.
Do skill really pay the bill? Or that'll be tested?
That's why Canelo feels so good.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia voiced his concerns over the physical toll that bulking up could take on Terence Crawford as he prepares for a possible fight with Canelo. Garcia explained that packing on significant weight in a short amount of time often backfires, robbing fighters of their speed, sharpness, and stamina, which in Crawford's case are among his greatest assets. He warned that slowing down, even slightly, against someone like Canelo could prove disastrous. Garcia also addressed the frequent comparisons between Crawford and Floyd Mayweather, dismissing them as misguided. He reminded fans that Mayweather never dramatically increased weight to face bigger opponents. Instead, his success against larger men came from his natural speed, defense, and technique. By contrast, Crawford stepping up in weight to this degree could leave him disadvantaged before the first bell, with his body adjusting to a frame that doesn't truly belong to him.
Look, with Crawford, I think gaining too much weight and too much muscle might affect them. If they're thinking of surviving and being able to take a punch and being able to go rounds, then they're trying to maybe go the distance and they'll be happy with that. But I think Crawford's natural talent, Mayweather had it. You know, you guys were just mentioning right now that Mayweather never needed to gain weight and never needed to be heavy to be able to beat those bigger guys. I think Crawford's skills, we give Crawford a chance because we know how good he is, how, you know, his skills, his speed, his combinations. But if he's gaining so much weight, he might not be able to do those. He might not be able to have those same skills when it comes to his speed, his footwork, because of the weight. So we'll see. You know, I just hope he's not just training and getting big to survive and go the distance, because maybe that's a win for him. Maybe he's thinking, if I go the distance with him, that's a big win for me. So, you know, I just hope not. I expect Crawford to actually pull up some runs and maybe even pull up the fight. But if he's too heavy, too big, he's gonna get hit, and he's gonna have to exchange punches, and that's where the danger comes in.
Rising contender Gary Anchuan Russell gave glowing praise to Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing that Canelo is a master of his own style and executes it with near-perfect efficiency. According to Russell, Canelo knows exactly what works for him, whether it's his slick defensive head movement, his perfectly timed counters, or his punishing body shots, and he maximizes those strengths in every fight. Russell stressed that these aren't things Crawford can simply take away, because they are honed through years of fighting at the highest level against elite opposition. While he gave Crawford credit for being an intelligent and adaptable fighter, Russell underscored that once a fighter like Canelo reaches a level of absolute confidence and rhythm, breaking that pattern becomes a monumental task. In his eyes, the consistency and refinement of Canelo's style is what makes him one of the most difficult puzzles to solve in boxing.
Canelo, he has mastered his style. Now, typically, Latinos, they got their own style versus melanated black people. Having like more rhythm, more flashiness and panache to their stuff, more swag.
Yeah.
We just fight different than other ethnicities. If you want to throw Amir Khan in there, his ethnicity, he was in and out.
Yeah, that's the European kind of style.
Textbook, you know, but that was his style. Canelo got his style and he mastered it. Terence Crawford cannot take nothing away from him. He's like freakishly good, you know. He go both sides, southpaw, orthodox, you know, and I feel like he adapt well. But it don't take much to get hit, especially these little 8-ounce gloves. He cannot slip up. He cannot slip up. He gonna have to stay set from bing to bing from round 1 to 12, and he better be in shape.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like not 12 round shape. I'm talking about like 16 round shape.
Former world champion Chris Algieri shared valuable insight about the difficulties fighters often face when moving up in weight. He explained that carrying extra size doesn't just change a fighter's look, it changes everything about how they perform in the ring. From timing to footwork to stamina, every adjustment can throw a fighter off. Algieri noted that while Crawford may appear larger and stronger on fight night, that doesn't necessarily mean his punches will carry the kind of power needed to trouble a natural super middleweight like Canelo. He emphasized that comfort at a weight class is crucial, and Canelo has lived at these higher weights for years, thriving against the very best. Algieri warned that the real test for Crawford may come in the later rounds, when fatigue sets in and his body begins to feel the strain of an unnatural weight. That's when the physical gap could show itself most clearly.
So that's another aspect of that comparison. And yes, exactly what the champ said, exactly what Abel Sanchez said, you're going to put on weight, you're going to be a different fighter. And I can say this even as a fighter as myself, but as I've gotten heavier in my retirement, I try and move around the gym, it just feels different. And even when you start camp, you feel different in the beginning than you do at the end. But listen, we're still 4 or 5 weeks away. I don't know exactly what Terence is weighing right now. And even if he does say what he weighs, man, he's gone out there and said he's weighed, all types of crazy numbers just to get media to respond. So it's really not really going to know until the fight. We see these guys next to each other. He might look bigger right now, but he might not be that heavy. He might still be in the range that these guys are targeting for the fight itself. But I will say this: if you look at it historically, Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Floyd was 36 years old. Canelo was a young man. I think he was 21 or something like that, or 23, under 23, whatever the case may be. Floyd came in how Floyd always comes in. He didn't try to put on weight for that fight. I think he came in 150 pounds, like he always did in his big fights, and even at 36 years old. And it was his speed, it was his technical proficiency, it was his skill, and his jab, which is what gave Canelo fits all night long, and eventually why he lost 11 rounds to 1. So I don't know that Crawford really needs to be packing on this muscle. And I have actually argued in my own head. I'm like, yeah, but he's older. He's not Floyd. Floyd was 36 when they...
Another boxing analyst came forward with a blunt and straightforward view: Canelo Alvarez is simply not going to lose to Terence Crawford. His reasoning was built around the idea that Crawford does not possess the kind of raw punching power needed to earn Canelo's respect. Without that deterrent, Canelo would have no reason to hold back, and the fight could quickly spiral into an uphill battle for Crawford. The analyst added that the reverse is also true: Crawford's chances of surviving 12 full rounds under Canelo's heavy, thudding punches look slim, given the natural size and strength difference. Canelo's granite chin, his physicality, and his ability to control distance could render Crawford's sharp skills ineffective over time. While acknowledging Crawford's greatness at his natural weight, the analyst confidently predicted that Canelo's resilience and physical dominance would be the deciding factor.
He was on the undefeated field. He said that he sparred Canelo Alvarez, and he hit Canelo Alvarez with his best shot. His best shot. This is a power puncher. Yeah, he's smaller than Canelo Alvarez, but let me further explain. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing. And some of y'all gonna be like, well, yo, that's Virgil Ortiz, he's smaller. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing with Triple G. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing versus Kovalev. Kovalev killed the man in the ring. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing with Danny Jacobs. Canelo Alvarez wasn't even demobilized by Dimitri before. He just got outboxed. He didn't hurt Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, you see how we say Iron Mike Tyson? Well, Canelo Alvarez has an iron chin. Terence Crawford. And also, put it this way, after the fight with Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, and I spoke to Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo basically said that, yo, Canelo Alvarez couldn't feel my punches. I hit Canelo Alvarez with 2 left hooks and he didn't even feel nothing. Jermell Charlo was Iron Man Jermell Charlo, the 154-pound undisputed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's not active right now, but we all know he was an undisputed, a knockout artist that got all his belt by knocking out every opponent to become undisputed, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez has gotten hit with the most devastating punches in his generation, 175 and 160. Fought the likes of Kirkland, that was known for power.
Former boxer and respected commentator Willie D broke down the fight by pointing out several overlooked factors. First, he noted that Canelo is actually younger than Crawford, a detail many fans gloss over but one that carries weight in boxing. Age impacts reflexes, recovery, and the ability to absorb punishment, all key elements in a brutal matchup. On top of that, Willie D highlighted Canelo's height advantage, which, combined with his reach, could allow him to control distance and force Crawford to fight on his terms. He emphasized that numbers like age and size aren't just statistics, they translate directly into performance inside the ring. His assessment painted a picture of Crawford facing multiple hurdles even before skill levels are considered, suggesting that the matchup is layered with disadvantages for the smaller man.
Bud is 37. So you give that edge to Canelo, because in boxing, youth is a commodity. Height. Canelo is 5 feet 7.5 tall. Terence Crawford is 5 feet 8 inches tall. So you give the slight edge to Terence Crawford right there. The reach. Canelo is 70.5 inches tall. Terence Crawford is 74 inches tall, which gives him an almost 4-inch reach advantage. Their weight, Canelo is a middleweight and Bud is a lightweight middleweight. Records. Canelo is 63-2-2, 39 knockouts. Bud is 41-0 with 31 knockouts. Canelo's last fight was a victory over William Skull. It was a unanimous decision on May 3rd, 2025. Bud last entered the ring on August 3rd, 2024, where he defeated Israel Madrid.
John Ryder, who personally stepped into the ring with Canelo Alvarez, offered one of the most candid takes on what Crawford would be up against. Ryder described Canelo's style as a calculated storm, a steady, relentless pressure that doesn't overwhelm all at once, but rather chips away at an opponent's resolve round after round. He explained that it's not just Canelo's power that breaks fighters, but his ability to dictate the rhythm of a fight while constantly forcing opponents into uncomfortable exchanges. Ryder admitted that even seasoned, tough fighters like himself struggle against this kind of methodical pressure, where every round feels like a test of willpower and durability. While he praised Crawford's skill and fighting spirit, Ryder suggested that maintaining composure and effectiveness against such sustained pressure across 12 grueling rounds would be a nearly impossible task.
You just got to watch the Bivol blueprint, the in and out. I mean, a lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. But stick to what you're good at. Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. He's won titles through the weights, undisputed at, 3 weights now. And listen, if anyone can do it, it's him. I think the weight will be too much of an issue. Canelo is a special talent. And I think the weight will play a factor in the fight, but listen, Canelo once done it and made the step up to super middleweight. I would like Crawford to be more at light middle and middle to build into it, but you take these opportunities when they come, and that's what greatness is, chasing.
Yeah, and I've heard that before. Like some people said if you see him at 154, he fought a Magomedov, and you saw how much he got touched. Obviously, it's 2 different fighters, but why do you think he should probably? You think he should have probably taken another fight, maybe at 160 or maybe another one at 168?
You need to build into it a bit. I think the fight with Magomedov was his first fight at
154.
At 154, and listen, he's still developing and growing into that weight. You could have done him with a couple more there, then moved up to 160, but it's all being done as a bit of a rush. So he's not going to be fully. He's not going to have time to put the muscle on to build into the weight, and he's obviously going to do it with the intention of getting back down to 154 and taking on other challenges. So it's not a long-term goal for him to stay there, but like I say, Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. I'm watching him beat a good friend of mine, Ricky Burns, and it's like since that day I was just, my ears pricked up and I took notice, and every time Terence Crawford boxed, I watched.
While most voices favored Canelo heavily, respected trainer coach Anthony offered a more balanced perspective. He agreed that Canelo is the naturally bigger, stronger man with far more experience fighting at higher weights, but he cautioned against writing off Terence Crawford too quickly. Anthony reminded fans that Crawford is no ordinary fighter. His adaptability, ability to switch stances fluidly, and high-level ring IQ could pose problems even for someone as complete as Canelo. He pointed out that Crawford's unique mix of timing, angles, and killer instinct allows him to capitalize on small openings that others might miss. According to Anthony, while Canelo is rightfully the favorite, dismissing Crawford entirely would be a mistake. If Crawford can bring his best attributes into the fight without being overwhelmed physically, he has the tools to surprise people and potentially shift the narrative.
Okay, but we have to break some things down into perspective here. First and foremost, Terence Crawford is a very strong 147 pounder. He's not a regular guy. He's not a regular 147 pounder. Another thing is, he's an extremely determined fighter. That guy's a winner. He's cut from the same cloth as the Andre Wards, the Floyd Mayweathers. That you only get certain fighters that come across in a decade that have that kind of aura and that kind of determination to win. Now, if we want to break it down fundamentally, don't get me wrong. Canelo is a strong fighter. You know, he's proven himself. He got a great chin. He's fought some of the best fighters that you can ask for. But he's not that much bigger if you ask me. They're about the same size and height. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a little bit wider. He's a little bit, you know, thicker, right? Like, as far as his frame goes. But we got to be honest here, man. He's not that. It's not like we're fighting Benavidez here, okay? We're fighting a guy that he can still get his jab off. He can still use his footwork. He can still use his defense to go ahead and evade some of these punches. You know what I mean? So for me, Terence Crawford is going to be, if Canelo goes in there and underestimates Crawford's strength, that could be a mistake, okay? It only takes a few pounds of pressure to hurt a guy. You don't need to be that big of a guy to hurt a guy. So, you know, at the end of the day, Crawford is a threat as well if Canelo goes in there and overestimates his weight and his size. I've seen bigger guys get knocked out by smaller guys in the gym all the time with headgear on and 16-ounce gloves. So we have to just take a few things into account when it comes to...
Now, with all these differing perspectives laid out, the ultimate question still lingers. Who would you favor in this legendary clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford? The debate rages on, and now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below.